Hello. So I'm always saying that I'm doing readings. A lot of people don't necessarily know what I do, though. I've been doing readings professionally for almost 15 years. And I know I might seem kind of like maybe intimidating or like, oh God, like who is this guy? He has all these tattoos. And when it comes to readings, I always see it as my ultimate responsibility to be helpful, to be insightful, to be kind, to be empathetic, to be compassionate. And that's really all a reading is I'm just listening and providing as helpful a perspective as possible, always with great consideration for who I'm speaking with. And I always like to say I'm speak the truth. I don't flatter people, but I'm always nice. I'm never mean. And even with stuff that's like, oh, hey, maybe we should focus on this challenge or whatever, I'm always working with whoever I'm doing a reading for, trying to understand the situation, trying to make the best of the situation. I hear some horror stories about other astrologers out there sometimes who make people feel terrible, who give them really bad advice of, oh, you have this energy, oh, it's you're screwed. I mean, that whole perspective doesn't vibe even with my, first of all, my sense of being kind to people, but also even my understanding of astrology. I mean, I've studied astrology for 15 years. I've written 500,000 words about astrology and what I've learned from astrology. And what I've learned is there's no such thing as a bad energy. There's no such thing as a bad chart. Everybody is perfect in their essence of who they are by nature. And really the key is just learning about who we are and appreciating, loving who we are. And there's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth, but we're all worthy of love. I come from a very spiritual, analytical, emotionally available. I mean, that's how I am just in day-to-day life. But when I'm doing readings, that I really make sure that that's the focal point of my approach, of being considerate and always looking for the positive, because there are positives. And even when facing deep challenges, trying to, again, find the way through to help the client in as most helpful, most insightful way possible. This part feels weird for me to say, but I know it's important as part of this video. I have really, really, really good reviews on my Facebook page. There was like 130. I don't know what happened. It's weird. But now there's like 75 like 5-star reviews. Again, this feels weird to say, but it's honest. Like routinely, if a person's, I can't even remember the last time a person came away from a reading without feeling like, whoa, like that. Thank you. That was, what I mean? It feels weird to say, but people were just really, that's my goal, is like to truly be helpful and to get to the core of whatever it is that a person's thinking, whether it's vague or specific, like, looking at the chart, trying to like provide the best holistic understanding perspective. It works really well. I've been doing this a long time. I really care about what I do. I really love what I do. And yeah, so if you're interested in getting a reading, I'd be happy to read for you. Truly, I'm happy to read for anybody who's just genuinely open. And again, whether you have questions and you want to go into specifics, I'm all ears. I love that. If you don't have questions, you're like, I don't know, read my chart. I love that too. It's all good. I'm just happy to offer my perspective to anyone who's open, and some ideas of what could be good just for maybe general purposes of a reading, or like stuff that you might want to focus on specifically. Obviously, natal chart is really good, just learning more about oneself in general. Learning about transits, learning about, okay, where are the transits right now? What are the astrological transits? That is where the energies are at right now or any given moment. So if there was a time of like, whoa, 2015 was a time, what was going on then, we can explore that. It's really exciting, and just understanding, okay, what were the different factors. I'm never here to like tell the future, looking at future transits. That's impossible. Only God knows what's meant to be. But looking at general themes can be helpful, of like, okay, in certain time period, you're going to be experiencing a lot of pressure in this general area of life. So maybe being mindful of that going into that time period, that could be really helpful. It's like, I'm kind of like a weatherman when it comes to astrological transits. It's just like I don't control the weather. I don't know how the weather's going to go exactly, but I can see kind of general things on the horizon. So that could be helpful. Looking at, I just want to say, as per any kind of purpose, like for the reading, if you were looking to be empowered, encouraged, I do that. If you've been through some serious, challenging times and emotions, and you want understanding from an astrological perspective of what were the themes, what happened, what are ways to feel better about that, I do that. I do it all. It's, again, I'm just here to be helpful. But I'm happy to, sometimes even in the same reading, to provide these kind of different services. Let's see what else. It's really good, of course, romantic connections. I'm never trying to tell people you should be with this person, you should not be with this person. That's not my job. My job is to look at what every relationship has, which is certain things that are great and certain challenges, different ways of communicating, different whatever it might be, and so that's my job of like, okay, so this is really, wow, let's celebrate this. That's really cool in the relationship, right? This is a bit challenging. It's good to keep this in mind, if this person keeps this in mind, if this person tries doing that, or whatever. It's like, again, I'm always here to provide solutions, provide help. So that's my perspective for love stuff. And again, I'm not trying to tell people be together, that's not my job. But yeah, I've helped a lot of couples too, where like a couple will sit for a reading. That's really cool, really sweet, really precious. That's fun. Or if like one person just wants to get a reading about maybe somebody they're interested in or they're seeing or whatever, and just get perspective. Again, I'm happy to provide that perspective as well. It's going to be information that benefits both you and your partner or potential partner or whatever, right? If you want to look at past relationships, we could do that as per exes. That is extremely helpful. I recommend that. As per family, looking at parents charts, looking at siblings charts, looking at best friends charts, looking at, again, past friends charts or whatever. That stuff I'm all here for as well. It's, again, it's really great. Just growing self-awareness and empathy is the whole point of doing readings. And it's a very gentle process. We're just talking, it's just chatting. But yeah, it's a very empathetic process too. I'm trying to understand what information I can offer to help you in your life, in whatever way I can. So that's that. As per love life, like potential, like certain energies to look for that have high probability of a mutually sustainable relationship between you and that person of particular energies. Happy to do that too. It can be a bit tricky figuring out the exact energies, like a kaleidoscope. It's like that energy plus that energy with that rising weight. Hold on, it's not super cookie cutter, but it's really interesting. And I especially like looking at past, relationships or whatever, and then present relationship or look, yeah, anyways, there's so much to talk about, as you can tell. That's really fun to explore as well. So if you're just trying to figure out what could be some good energies to look for in a partner, really helpful. One last thing is I love MBTI as well, the Myers-Briggs system. I've utilized it along with tropical astrology for 15 years. Happy to include that as well. My first book is about both of these systems together, what I've learned. And by the way, first book is coming. I'm still not quite there yet, so I gotta do that final edit, but all in divine timing. I don't control it, it's God. I think that's kind of the main gist of how readings generally go. Truly, however specific or however vague questions, I can provide a perspective from an astrological, an MBTI perspective, and that's what I'm here for. So yeah. Anyways, infinite love to you, my friends. Info in the about section to book a reading, different formats of readings. I should talk about that real quick. I do Skype readings, phone readings. Those are both, I think the first option. I do recorded audio, recorded video. Some people might feel a little shy at first. Totally fine. Happy to do those readings. Happy to do any readings. I do written readings. I'm not quite doing a lot of written readings right now, so that may not be available. It really depends on my schedule. Am I forgetting something? I think that's all. I don't know if there's another option I'm not thinking of. It's there. But long story short, we can cover any information in any format. The reading format doesn't matter as per content. I just do my thing regardless, do the reading. The format's more just your preference. So I think that pretty much covers everything. I've been doing it a long time. I love it. And yeah, so if you'd like a reading, come get a reading. I'm more than happy to. Info, again, in the about section to book a reading with me, the different options, etc. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. Peace.